Imagine sailing through the vast, empty expanse of the Pacific Ocean, hundreds of miles from any known landmass, only to stumble upon an island that isn't on any map. An island, by all accounts, that shouldn't exist. This isn't the plot of a forgotten horror novel, but a real-world maritime enigma that has haunted cartographers and historians for centuries. The perplexing case of phantom islands. Islands that appear, linger on maps for decades, sometimes even centuries, and then vanish without a trace, leaving behind only questions and an unsettling sense of what else lies hidden beneath the waves. What if these weren't just charting errors, but something far more unsettling? To truly grasp the bizarre phenomenon of phantom islands, we need to transport ourselves back to a time when the world was much larger and far less understood. From the 15th to the 19th centuries, the age of exploration was in full swing. Brave, or perhaps foolhardy, navigators crisscrossed the great oceans, meticulously charting every curve of coastline and every speck of land they encountered. But their methods were primitive by modern standards. Longitude was notoriously difficult to measure accurately until reliable chronometers became available. Sights were taken with sextants and chronometers, often in rough seas, under challenging weather conditions, and by weary sailors whose perception might have been skewed by weeks or months at sea. Furthermore, the sheer vastness of the unexplored oceans fostered a sense of wonder and possibility, but also a breeding ground for error and imagination. Early maps were not just scientific documents, they were also works of art, imbued with the prevailing myths and legends of the time. Sea monsters, mythical continents, and even entries from ancient texts found their way onto charts, often to be taken as fact by subsequent explorers. European cartographers, in their eager pursuit to fill the blank spaces on their maps, would often include islands based on dubious reports, misinterpretations of distant land sightings, or even outright fabrications. These islands, once charted, took on a life of their own, copied from one atlas to the next, becoming entrenched in the collective geographic consciousness. It was a time when the line between fact and fiction blurred, and the unknown was often filled with the imagined. Now let's delve into some of the most infamous phantom islands, beginning with a truly recent and shocking example: Sandy Island. For more than a century, Sandy Island was a fixture on nautical charts in the Coral Sea, located between Australia and New Caledonia. It appeared on Google Earth, even featuring a faint outline, making it seem undeniably real. Australian government charts, French hydrographic charts, all displayed some version of Sandy Island. Its supposed coordinates were 20, 25, 59.0 degrees. Then, in 2012, a team of Australian scientists on a research vessel, the RV Southern Surveyor, was sailing through the area. They were surveying the ocean floor, and as they approached the coordinates of Sandy Island, their sonar showed nothing but deep ocean. Zero landmass. The ship's captain, on nearing the supposed island, simply saw open water. They radio-controlled Sydney to update authorities, effectively undiscovering an island that had been discovered and mapped since at least 1840. The French initially reported it after the ship Velocity in 1876, but even earlier, British whaling charts showed it. How could an island persist for over 170 years on maps and even on Google Earth, only to vanish into the deep blue? Experts now believe it was likely a cartographic error, perhaps a misinterpretation of icebergs by early whalers, or an outright mistake that was simply copied and perpetuated. The sheer embarrassment for modern cartography was palatable. If a large island could disappear in the 21st century, what other secrets did the empty spaces hide? Another classic example is Dougherty Island, first reported by Captain Dougherty of the James Stewart in 1841. He described it as a large, high island in the South Pacific, near 59 degrees 120 to 30 W. For decades, it appeared on maps, a potential whaling outpost or a crucial navigational landmark. But subsequent expeditions, including Captain Robert Falcon Scott's famous Antarctic voyage, sailed right over its supposed location and found nothing but endless sea. It lingered on maps until well into the 20th century, a ghost island in a desolate sea. Was it a mirage, a simple mistake in celestial navigation, or perhaps a passing iceberg mistaken for permanent land? The human mind, especially after months at sea, can play tricks. The desire to find new land, to be the one who discovers, combined with inaccurate instruments, created these persistent illusions. These weren't fleeting errors. They were deep-seated geographical myths that shaped voyages and perceptions for generations. The slow, painstaking process of proving their non-existence often took decades or even centuries, each disappearance chipping away at the certainty of the known world. But what about the truly compelling cases, the sightings so vivid and reports so consistent that they defied easy dismissal? Consider the legends of Mayda Island. Reportedly seen by a Basque whaler in the 15th century, Mayda appeared on numerous maps of the North Atlantic, usually west of Ireland, for over 400 years. Its distinctive crescent shape and tales of verdant landscape fueled speculation for centuries. Was it Atlantis, a remnant of some lost land, or just another figment of nautical imagination? Numerous expeditions set out to find it, none ever succeeding. Yet, its persistence on maps, from the early 16th century cartographer Abraham Ortelius to late 19th century publications, suggests more than a simple one-off error. Could it have been an ice island that eventually melted? Or perhaps a navigational error that somehow gained immense traction due to its peculiar shape being easily reproducible on a map? Then there is the case of Bermeja, an island once prominent on maps of the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. It appeared with remarkable consistency from the late 16th to the early 20th century. During the 1990s and early 2000s, Bermeja became a contentious political issue when Mexico and the United States were delineating maritime boundaries for oil exploration. If Bermeja existed, it would significantly alter Mexico's exclusive economic zone, potentially shifting vast oil reserves into Mexican territory. Both governments launched extensive searches using advanced sonar and satellite imagery. The result? Nothing. Absolutely no trace of Bermeja. The most plausible theories range from a simple cartographic misplacement of observations from other islands to a deliberate hoax by Spanish cartographers to extend their territorial claims. However, the sheer persistence and detail of its depiction, even in naval archives, makes one wonder. Could geological shifts have occurred? Submarine volcanoes or seismic activity leading to a temporary island, or perhaps a more cataclysmic sinking? While improbable, the complete disappearance of what was once a well-established geographical feature fuels a deeper unease. These weren't vague blurs on the horizon. These were precisely located landmasses, drawn with confidence that simply ceased to be. To this day, the ocean remains the least explored frontier on our planet. While modern satellite technology and extensive surveys have largely eradicated the problem of large, unmapped islands, smaller, more remote landmasses could still theoretically exist, especially in volatile regions or polar areas. The mystery of phantom islands serves as a humbling reminder of the limitations of human perception, the fallibility of early scientific methods, and the enduring power of myth and legend. It asks us to question what we see, what we are told, and what we believe. Did these islands truly exist, rising from the depths only to sink back into oblivion? Or were they merely collective hallucinations brought on by longing, error, and the vast, unsettling loneliness of the open sea? The truth is likely an unsatisfying mix of both. But the stories of these islands that shouldn't exist leave us with a profound sense of wonder and perhaps a touch of trepidation. What other geographical ghosts, either real or imagined, have we yet to discover hidden beneath the churning surface? The ultimate message from these vanishing lands is a simple one. Even in our highly charted world, the unknown still holds sway, and the human mind, both individually and collectively, can conjure islands into being, only for the cold, hard reality of the ocean to claim them back. If you want more mysteries like this, the next video explores the chilling enigma of the ghost ships of the Pacific, vessels found adrift and abandoned, with not a soul on board and no explanation for their deserted state.